Hello and welcome along to part 33 of this Dark Souls guide and playthrough. I apologise for not releasing this part quicker. I actually have a bit of a problem. Up until part 32, I'd recorded all these videos in January and February, and I'd wanted to finish recording them all before the release of Dark Souls 2. All these videos unfortunately have been released after Dark Souls 2, or been created after or recorded after Dark Souls 2, so they've all been recorded in the last day or two. Come down here, we're going to take on the Four Kings. You know how to get here. This is a shortcut into the New Londo Ruins with the Dark Wraiths. And I've actually found it more difficult to transition from Dark Souls 2 to Dark Souls than I thought it would. Than I anticipated, basically. And I don't know, I just haven't been playing to the same level that I know I can play to in Dark Souls, and it's kind of made me, I don't know, it's put me off my stride in terms of creating these videos, but I'm going to finish this guide, and if it means I have to take a wee bit longer to make the videos, then I apologise about that. Anyway, what to do is use a transient curse here, because this is the part I was telling you about in the previous episodes, or 2 episodes ago, about the ghosts. So there's usually 2 ghosts come up to this. There's one, there's the first one. And you'll also pull a Dark Wraith. For some reason the other ghost doesn't come, but yeah, there's usually 2. And what we're going to do is, we picked up the Covenant of Artorias in the previous episode from the Great Grey Wolf Sith. So we are going to equip that ring, and that ring allows us to traverse the abyss. Without that ring, you die basically as soon as you fall into the abyss. Here's the other ghost. There's this Dark Wraith around here, but there's no point in taking him on. If you're in human form, you can summon the Dark Witch, Witch Beatrice. Now, before you come in here and before you come down here, what I would suggest doing is getting one of the Rare Ring of Sacrifices. You can pick one up in Sen's Fortress, I believe, one in Lost Izalith. The one in Sen's Fortress is near Prince Rickard. You can also trade with Snuggly the Crow, Twin Humanities, to get the Rare Ring of Sacrifice, and you need it for the place we're going after this, which is the Duke's Archives. Don't forget to put the Covenant of Artorias on, otherwise you will fall to your death. And I'm actually using DS Fix in the PC version, and you actually have to temporarily disable it in order to go into the abyss, otherwise you die. It's something to do with the frame rate. So I'd forgotten about that and actually died the first time, so that's why there'll be a cut, an abrupt cut in a second, and yeah, so you'll see I've got a different soul count and whatnot. Anyway, put your green blossoms on the bar, and also a gold pine resin if you're using a normal weapon, because they're weak. The Four Kings are weak to lightning. I'm going to keep the grass crest shield on, because I want to get as much stamina output as possible to kill these guys as quickly. This is a race basically. You're trying to kill each king. There's 4 of them obviously. You're trying to kill each one as quickly as possible. The longer it takes you, the higher the risk to you dying is, because another king will spawn. This is I should have killed the king there, and I wouldn't have taken the magic damage. You can block that magic damage with the crest shield, which has 80% magic block, or you can roll out the way of that as well. That's why I was rolling back the way. So that's one king down. They're weak to fire, that's why I'm using the chaos weapon, lightning, and something else, can't remember now. You can see they're not really doing much damage when they're hitting me. That's why I'm not bothering tanking up or using a shield. And as you can see there, killing them, instantly stops their cast. Sort of stops them casting their magic attack. I must have written down Power Within. I should have used Power Within here as well. Like I say, I'm swapping from Dark Souls 2 to this, and I'm not quite on the ball with things where it should be. But yeah, I would have used Power Within if I'd been thinking straight, because it just basically obviously increases your damage output. Divine weapons, that's what they're also weak to. So anything with a holy modifier, so like I think Silver Knight Spear has a holy modifier as well, so something like that actually. And you can see there was a big gap between the second and third king, and that was just, and there's a gap again because we've managed to beat the timer. And there you go, there's the last one spawned. This, you can block it with the Crest Shield. He instantly goes for another AoE cast. You can block that first magic attack with a shield, or you can actually get really close to him and it basically doesn't hit you. In New Game Plus, the 4 kings are a lot more difficult. And that's us got our next Lord Soul. And we'll put that in the Lord Vessel. You can take the Ring of Artorias off and the Covenant of Artorias off, sorry, and we'll get extra souls by equipping the Covetous Silver Serpent Ring. So what you want to do once you've done that is you want to warp to Anor Londo, to the main bonfire, and go left, and if you look up the way, look up, you'll see that's the Duke's Archives, home of Sif the Scaleless and a bunch of Unfortunates. It's a library cum prison, and you could actually see it from Sen's Fortress, and I think you can see it from the Undead Parish as well when you ring the bell. Just run under this guy's legs or just get past him, you don't have to take him on. So it'll follow you for a wee bit, it usually de-aggroes quite quickly. I was kind of confused here, I don't think I've ever seen him come up this far before, but there you go. So I wanted to change weapons here, I was getting a bit bored of using the Chaos Zweihander, and I picked the wrong weapon. I like the Lucerne, but it was the wrong weapon to take on these armoured boars. These two boars have got full armour on, whereas the one in Undead Parish has less armour. Two-hand your weapon to do, otherwise if you don't, your weapon, if you just one-hand it, your weapon bounces off. You can't backstab these boars, and you want to roll through their attacks. I'm a bit careless in this, taking this one on, and he kind of gets the better of me. You want to stay to the side of them and the back of them. The side's probably the best place to stay, and then just get your hits in. Yeah, you can see that these are fully armoured. Lightning weapons do very well against armoured targets in Dark Souls, because obviously metal conducts lightning. So if you've got something like a sword infused with lightning, then that'll really increase damage output against them. So this is a second armoured boar, and I'm going to show you a way that you can cheese them. So just roll through the attacks. And come up here and go to the right, and if you go into the corner, just make sure he follows you. And if you go into the corner, he does that, he impales your ass basically. That's not supposed to happen, but yeah, you basically can just cheese him because he can't get any further forward, and you can just get your hits in freely against him. And we'll get his the Fang Helm, the Fang Boar Helm, or the Boar Fang Helm. Fang Boar Helm. And I love the look of this. You see a number of PvP players wearing this. It reminds me of the Predator. I don't think it has any special status or anything. I don't think it confers any special bonus stats onto your character. It's quite heavy as well. It would have been good if you could have attacked with it, you know, with the two front fangs. Anyway, come and light the bonfire down here. The Duke's Archives is a funny place. Some people really dislike the Duke's Archives, and I think it's not bad. I think it's interesting level design, and I think the lore behind the Duke's Archives and Seath the Scaleless is very interesting. The enemies here are very interesting as well, and different to what we've encountered before. So we're going to encounter Crystal Undeads, and these Crystal Undeads, they don't have like tons of health, but what they do have, they pack a punch with their weapons, because remember crystal weapons, remember we used the Crystal Halberd before, and it puts out a lot of damage basically. So these guys can stagger you, and they can take a chunk of your health off, definitely, especially if you're wearing kind of light armor like we are. And I wanted to try something. Apparently they're weak to thrusting weapons, and I wanted to see how well, thrusting weapons worked against them. I guess they do work quite well actually. They're weak to lightning as well. And this first room you've got a few to take on. And it's the next room that's really annoying. And one of the most annoying things about Duke's Archives is the archers. As you can see, we're getting sniped. And there's quite a lot of archers here, and it gets really aggravating after a while. They're really susceptible to the backstab, these guys. You can see that there's a blue golem up at the corner there. That blue golem actually drops the item that is necessary if you want to access the DLC areas, and it's called the Broken Pendant. So there is at least one pendant in the game that's useful, and we've got a channeler up there as well. So that you can see this guy's buffed, so you can see he took a lot more of my health away there. He took maybe like a third of my health off in one hit. So be very careful with these buffed crystal hollows. He was trying to break my guard there, the first one. Thankfully the Chaos Zweihander does very well here. And that's more carelessness. So we'll take on the blue golem and we'll get the pendant. You'll remember in like the previous episode, not the previous episode, the one before that, we took on the Hydra, and then we took on the gold golem, and I broke his favourite vase. It's aggro him and bring him down here. You can fight him up there if you want, but yeah, I actually meant to obviously hit him there, but missed. Yeah, so in the previous episode we killed the golden golem, and we met Dusk of Ulusil, and she's a time traveller of sorts. And if you read the description for the broken pendant, there's hints of that time travel again. Powerful magic can be sensed from this ancient stone, yet men of this time can neither manipulate nor sense its power, which is a distinct air consisting of both reverence and nostalgia, and obviously nostalgia refers to the past. So he's doing his buff dance. You can actually do that dance yourself if you get his weapon, the trident. He can drop it, he can drop his armour as well, and you'll see that soon. His armour set's not particularly good, it's very heavy for what it is. So you can hear like the channeler like talking to itself, and I'm in an area of Dark Souls 2 just now. I've not finished Dark Souls 2. I'm in an area of Dark Souls 2, and I was hearing, like, I play with headphones on, I could hear distinctive voices, and I've just realised it must be the channelers, even though I've not encountered them yet. It must be some kind of channeler of some sort. It's the Shaded Woods, I think the area's called. And you've got these lion type enemies. So anyway, we'll take this channeler out because he's really annoying. And we get the knockdown effect with the Zweihander. I've got to admit, I think although I don't like the Channeler's armour set, it's not really useful for me. I think it's very beautiful when you look at it, and it's quite creepy actually when you realise it's got like 6 set of eyes, or the Channeler has 6 set of eyes. Anyway, come up to the right here, and you've got an archer across there, so just be wary of him. And unfortunately a couple of these guys are buffed down here, so I'm not going to take them on straight away. Go left here. Be careful though, there's a crystal hollow. And I forgot there was another guy behind me. So just back away. No point in taking any unnecessary risks. You can see well, this is indicative of, you know, me not playing up to my kind of normal level or standard. I'm just not getting my hits in properly. I'm getting my timings wrong. It's very frustrating when you do that, you know, when you know that you can play better. Especially if you're trying to make a guide. But anyway, as long as I get the important points across, I think that's the main thing. And as long as this video helps somebody, I know that there's a lot of guides out there for Dark Souls, and mine isn't anything special. I just wanted to make it for the fun of it, and I wanted to be part of the community basically. Or participate in the Dark Souls community. Anyway, come round here, and you'll notice the chain is coiled forward, so that indicates that this is a mimic. And this mimic drops one of the best items in the game. Here it is, the symbol of avarice. And avarice just means that you've got a desire, an unhealthy desire for riches or trinkets. But basically for gold, money. Anyway, monster head resembling a treasure chest. Once an ancient god, it is said that this is a symbol of shame imposed on a long lost clan exiled for the sin of avarice. So it basically it has a dual function of, I love the veins on the tongue, and I love the details of the treasure chest with the teeth and whatnot. But yeah, this has a dual function. It replaces the silver ring and gold ring, and basically combines both functions into one item. So it increases your item rate, drop rate find, which is what the gold covetous serpent ring does, and it also increases the amount of souls that you get for each kill, which is what the silver covetous serpent ring does. So an excellent item, but very heavy, and not particularly good looking in terms of fashion souls. So we'll take that off, and we'll put the thief strap back on again. And there's a twinkling titanite at the other end of here, so we'll go and pick that up. And you can see there's an item in the bookshelf down there. If you, on the bookshelf really to our left there, on top of it there's a treasure chest, and in that treasure chest is the Avalon. The Avalon is a quick fire crossbow. Not something I use, but if you're interested in crossbows, then that's where to find the Avalon. To get to it, you need to... basically the best way to get to it, if you're unsure of how to get to it, I would watch other videos on YouTube, because it requires like platforming basically, and jumping and whatnot. Anyway, come up here, and this is how you progress through the Duke's Archives. We're going to meet a Crystal General up here, I believe the enemy's called. Not sure what the lore is with this guy. I think he's protecting the way to Seath the Scaleless, so he's very easy to parry and riposte. He's got 0 poise almost. Very easy enemy. Can hit quite hard though, so be careful. Be wary of that. I'm going to change weapon here because there's a crystal lizard, and I just want a weapon that strikes the ground with ease, so we'll use the Black Knight Halberd. In the next episode we will finish the Duke's Archives, and we'll finish up with Seath the Scaleless. Missed. Got him the second time. Don't forget to give we picked up the enchanted ember in the Darkroot Garden at one point, near the mushroom people. So give that to Rickard of Vinheim. Anyway, what to do now is equip your Rare Ring of Sacrifice, and make sure it's a Rare Ring of Sacrifice because you can get cursed in this room, and the Rare Ring of Sacrifice nullifies curse if you do get cursed. This is a scripted event, so you're intended to be killed here. This is absolutely intentional. Nothing you can do about it. So this is Seath the Scaleless. At this point he's immortal. You'll remember that at some point they talk about his research into the scales of immortality. So in order for us to kill him, we're going to need to find a way to overcome that. So what happens is you respawn inside the prison of the Duke's Archives. So that's us in the prison now, and we're guarded by one of these serpent soldiers outside. You can see him. There he is, and he's snoring away, and he holds the key to this cell. At the other end of this cell are 3 crystal hollows. So just repair all your weapons and whatnot and your armour, and upgrade your character's stats if you need to. To get the key basically to leave this cell, you just strike the serpent soldier, or the man serpent soldier, and it's also a good idea to pull these guys one at a time. It's not a good idea to fight all 3 at once. Although there's not really much penalty for you dying here because you'll just respawn at that bonfire behind you. It's interesting that you're you know, in a cell with these guys. Don't know what that noise was. It was confusing me when I was playing the game. But yeah, it's interesting that you're in a cell with these guys. Are they jailed, or are they just in here to make sure you don't do what? I don't know. It doesn't make real much sense to me. Anyway, strike this guy and you'll get the key, and that'll allow you to open the cell door. So in the next episode we'll progress through the Duke's Archives. I hope this episode helped, and I'll try and be quicker with the release.